to you, John.
Thank you, Vivian. It is an absolute honor to be here. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to Success Resources. I've been working with them for many years now. An amazing organization doing amazing work, literally transforming thousands of lives around the world. So it's an absolute honor to be here. I also want to commend you folks, especially those that are up late at night or early morning watching this. That really speaks volumes for who you are and your commitment for success. So as I said, it's a real honor to be here. But what I'm going to be talking about today or this evening is really a culmination of my 30 years of working with thousands of individuals of all walks of life, showing them first why they continue to struggle or why they are unable to meet their true potential. And by the way, Vivian, I'm getting a notice of notifications, speaking languages and letting people in the room. Do I need to continue?
No worries on that. Just leave it to
Okay.
us. Thank you,
Okay.
John.
All right. Let me share my screen and we'll get into it. Okay. Everyone see my screen? Thumbs up. Great. Oh, thank you for all your kind wishes. I appreciate that. Hello to you all. It's great. It's awesome that so many people around the world. I love that. So I'm going to talk about why people are struggling in all the years I've been doing this. And then I'm going to share with you a powerful cash flow strategy that you can incorporate that's very easy to generate instant income or cash flow while building wealth. So today is really kind of a culmination of these two presentations that I've done around the world, all in 30 minutes. So we've got a lot to get to. And then I'll stop and I'll take your questions if that's okay. So I like to start by kind of gauging the audience. And let me just start out by asking, really point blank, are you meeting your true potential? And raise your hand if you feel that you are actually meeting your absolute true potential. That's good. That's actually good that I don't see any hands going up because you're not reaching your true potential. Then let me ask you, if you are not, why is that? Put it in the chat. Why do you think you're not reaching your true potential? Anyone? Limiting beliefs. You must have seen my presentation beforehand, Sean. Little voice. Yep. Yep. More room for improvement. Absolutely. So great answers. You're spot on. But before we get into it, I want you to know sort of the overarching theme of today and your life, which is your financial future. Your financial future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Today, not tomorrow. Thumbs up on that. And I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this together. But before we get into my cash flow strategy, I want to address something that's extremely important for your success. In the 30 years I've been coaching people, and in all the research we've done on successful people versus those that are struggling, boils down to one thing. Anyone have a guess? Anyone have a guess? Why we have successful people versus those that are still struggling? Well, let me just tell you, it is not the strategies, it's not the tactics, it's not the tools, it's not crypto, it's not real estate. Boils down to mindset. 100% mindset. That's it. Those things I just mentioned before, crypto, real estate, multi-level marketing, whatever it is, if you have the right mindset in place, you can crush any of those things. I am absolutely telling you that. And that's irregardless to any crisis that's going on in the world or even in your country. Look, the world has gone chaotic. I think we'll all admit that, right? Yet there's still so many people that are thriving despite the chaos. Because haven't you noticed that successful people always figure out a way to win? They figure out a way to up their game and take on challenges or crises they face in any environment, and they keep striving consistently. I'm here to tell you that has nothing to do with your perceived lack of education, where you grew up, what school you attended or didn't attend, who your parents were, or any of those things that you think is holding you back. I'm here to tell you, all of you watching this have exactly what it takes to achieve an incredible life for you and your family beyond what you even think is possible. You have the exact same intellect as any rich or wealthy person you know of. There's nothing wrong with you physically. There's nothing wrong with your brain. You have what it takes right now to reach that true potential that you're not reaching, as you admitted earlier. The problem is you have certain barriers within your mind that are holding you back. That's it. And this is what I've seen throughout my many years of working with so many people. The problem is that people are using the wrong strategy to transform their life. They think if they read a book or watch a podcast or a YouTube video, they think that's going to change their life. Look, those things are great and very helpful, but I'm here to tell you, information does not cause transformation, because there is no way to achieve true, lasting financial freedom and peace of mind and independence. In other words, there's absolutely no way to reach the stars without incorporating a process that taps into your brain and makes changes at the core of your mental programming. That's the key. That's what a majority, if not 99% of people miss. And that's what's holding them back, or that's what's holding you back. In other words, from the research clearly shows, simply stated, there is no change or transformation you desire unless there's a biological change in your brain, period. And information is not enough to create that biological change you need. Most people are stuck on the quick solution rather than the root cause of the problem. I mean, you may have a lot of success in your life. I'm sure you do, because you're in this program, but there may be something holding you back. And that's what I've seen throughout the years of working with all these people. And to be clear, this is not your fault, because this is how we were taught to transform ourselves, with more information, right? But this is why we see the staggering financial statistics showing why most working adults are living paycheck to paycheck. It's why we see 64% of people could not come up with $500 for an emergency expense. 64%. Why 65% of people are considered financially illiterate, and why 40% of people will be completely reliant on the government for their retirement. There is a secret that you haven't been told that I'm going to share with you in just a second. So in the interest of time, I want to share this transformative process with a thought leader in the field of neuroscience, J.W. Wilson, who you may know. We traveled together with Robert. We spent 3 years creating a 5-stage process we call Thrive Path that creates that biological environment that taps into your brain at its core to make the changes you need to achieve what you never thought was possible. And by the way, this process applies to any aspect of your life: relationships, your health and well-being, your professional life, your family. And each stage builds on itself as you go through it. So the 5 stages are beliefs, meaning, awareness, ritual, and mentorship. And when I look back on my life and the success I've been blessed with, these 5 stages are the key to why I achieved financial freedom at the age of 37. This is the process. This is the key to you living life on your own terms. So today, I'm going to take you through the first one, and that's beliefs, as some of you mentioned in the chat. This first stage, folks, you need to understand is the biggest barrier holding you back, and it's an absolute killer if you don't change it. Until we get to the root of your problem, in other words, the core of your struggles or the core of why you're not reaching your true potential, you will not achieve the financial life you desire or frankly deserve. Nothing changes until this changes. And this first stage is where so many people have come to me. They were stuck and couldn't successfully overcome what was holding them back. And it was right in front of their eyes, but they couldn't see it. It's here. When you break through this is where you can absolutely accelerate your ability to thrive in life. Let me explain. Your destiny is entirely based on one thing, and that's your belief system. Your beliefs are the things your subconscious mind believes to be true, They shape who you are, how you think, and they influence your actions. Ultimately, your beliefs determine who you become in the world. The problem is that most of these beliefs are simply lies you've been telling yourself. But the fact is, these beliefs you have been telling yourself subconsciously, they're simply not true. In fact, research suggests that 95% of our life, who we are, comes directly from our beliefs. 95% running nonstop in our subconscious mind like a computer program 24/7. Your beliefs determine how you think, how you act, how you behave. Your beliefs determine the decisions you make for yourself and your family. And as I said a moment ago, your beliefs determine your destiny. Whether you're struggling or thriving, it's all because of your belief system. And research tells us that many of our core beliefs and ideas about the world, get this, are formed before the age of 8 years old, and our beliefs are formed. At 8 years old, is this really a rational or logical stage of our life to determine our future? I don't think so. I think you would agree with me. Now, you may disagree that our beliefs are hardwired by the time we're 8 years old, but let's say it's 20, right? Let's say it's 20 years old. Is 20 a healthy age for us to dictate our future? No way. Here's the bigger problem. Research tells us that approximately 70 to 75% of our beliefs in all aspects of our lives are negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging. What you believe to be true, which is embedded in your subconscious mind, it's not often true. And that's what leads to your problems or lack of potential, right? Yet most people never challenge their beliefs. And there's a couple of reasons why, at least in my experience. First, they couldn't see them. And they never realized how much power and influence and how destructive these beliefs can be in their lives. And number two, they don't know how to challenge their belief system. And the problem with that is you don't realize it until it's too late. And I'm going to give you some examples of what I'm talking about. I want you to think about these in your own lives, in your professional lives, or in your personal lives. These are beliefs I've uncovered, and there are thousands of them. These are the most common. These are ones that I've uncovered from people when we first started working together, and they had no idea these harmful beliefs were controlling and harming their lives. That's how powerful this can be. In fact, many people will deny they have these beliefs until we reveal them, until they realize and they go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was actually running in my subconscious mind, controlling my actions. But that's when change and transformation begins. When you can acknowledge you have these harmful beliefs that are holding you back. So let me share with you some typical ones. I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve it. I need to make more money before I can go out on my own, right? It's too late for me. I don't have time right now. I hear that one a lot. I have plenty of time to take care of things. In other words, procrastination. I'll never be rich. A lot of people who are successful still have that in their subconscious mind. I need a certain image. My company will take care of me. How often do we hear that? It's only $50 on a credit card. What difference does it make? I can do this on my own. I don't need any help. I'm not good with money. It's too complicated. I was never good with math. Most wealthy people inherited their money. I'll never get out of debt. The system is rigged. Financial freedom is impossible or nearly impossible for me. There's no way I could do that. There's no way I could take on that project. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dr. Bruce Lipton, somebody I follow very closely. He's an internationally recognized leader in really bridging science and personal success. He says, so by definition, your life is a printout of your unconscious programming based on your destructive belief system. What is troubling is that you play these programs 95% of the time and you don't ever see them. So that means at least 95% of the time you are sabotaging yourself and you don't see it. Therefore, you never understood why things in your life were not working or not working as they should be. He also says that's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich. It all boils down to people's harmful and self-sabotaging belief system that is running in your subconscious mind on autopilot dictating how you think, how you act, how you behave, and ultimately who you become. And any research will tell you, change your beliefs and you'll change your life forever. This first stage starts the process of total mindset transformation and begins the process to align your financial behaviors, your actions with the outcomes you have envisioned for yourself. Folks, this stage alone is enough to transform your entire life forever. Make sense? Thumbs up. How are we doing so far? Good. Great. Thank you, Richard. Vivian, awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's get to the second half. And I want to get to part two of this discussion. And I want to switch gears here. Now that we've talked about mindset and the power of mindset, the imperative of mindset, I want to briefly show you a strategy that I've been using for years to generate thousands of dollars every single month in less than 30 minutes a week. In fact, just on Fridays, that's pretty much all I spend on this program. And it's the exact same strategy that my 94-year-old father still uses today to generate between $15,000 and $20,000 per month as a hobby. And he's been doing it consistently for 13 years. June 21st, he just turned 94, and he's still using this strategy very, very successfully. And this is a proven and effective system that's been used for years by thousands of people every single day, very successfully. Yet sadly, most people don't even know it exists. And it's a simple three-step process I call the 3 pillars of investing. And this is what separates the pros from the amateurs. And folks, it is really, really easy. Number one, the first part of this is how to pick high probability winning stocks very quickly using technology. With a smartphone or a laptop, you can do this super fast. Number two, how to use indicators to determine when to buy or when to sell those stocks. I'm going to get into all this. And number three is how to use a simple option strategy to generate cash flow on every single trade while building wealth by profiting on those stocks. So you really get 2 bites at the apple on this. You have cash flow, immediate cash flow, and then profits. And the gist behind this strategy is really based on this fact. This is a chart of the S&P 500, which is a representation of the performance of the overall stock market going back to 1928. And on average, the market has produced an average return of 10% over time. That does not mean 10% every year. The market goes up and down, as you know, but if you smooth out those returns, the market has generated approximately a 10% average rate of return over time. And if you boil that down, that equates to 0.83% per month. And folks, for most people, 0.83% per month is simply not enough of a return to get them where they want to be financially. And given all the statistics that I just shared with you earlier and the number of people that are continuing to struggle on a daily basis, particularly with inflation and economic uncertainty, this strategy has become more and more popular every single day. And I think you'll know why in just a moment. So my personal goal on this is to generate 2 to 4% in cash flow on every single trade every 7 to 14 days. 2 to 4% in cash flow every 7 to 14 days. And by the way, that 2 to 4%, again, does not take into account any profits I may make on the stocks involved in this strategy. So in this example, my goal 2 to 4%, let's take the midpoint of that and let's say 3% every 14 days in cash flow. So 3% every 2 weeks, that's 6% per month or 72% per year, excluding profits. And that's why this strategy is so popular with so many people versus the 10% on average people get in a buy and hold strategy with the overall stock market. With profits, I'm looking to double, if not much more, my money on an annual basis. And again, less than 30 minutes a week. And that's why so many of my students say, John, now I know why so many people say this is just like printing money. And frankly, I can't argue with that. They're right. So looking back at all the people I've coached over the years, there are 4 common themes I see repeatedly. And perhaps you fit into one of these or all of these. Perhaps you need more cash flow. Perhaps you need more cash flow immediately. Maybe you're behind on your retirement goals, very common. You desire a better lifestyle, or you're sick of losing money, right? Thumbs up. Does this apply to you guys? Need a lot of cash flow. That's right, James. Thumbs up. Need more cash flow. Yep. Rolling. Thank you. Yep. Good stuff. So the first pillar in this strategy, as I mentioned this earlier, this is fundamental analysis. And this is helping you find high quality stocks that we believe have significant upside. Arguably the most overlooked aspect of investing. This is not about hot stock tips, because that's a losing strategy, which is why most people lose money in the stock market or significantly underperform. And using technology, you can do this in seconds to easily screen for high probability stocks. Basically, it's like a giant filtering process where I'm looking at the entire universe of stocks, and using technology, I can narrow that down to a dozen or so with a click of the button in seconds. And I can do it on this right here. Second is technical indicators. And this is all about when to buy and when to sell a stock. Because even if you find a great stock you love, that doesn't mean it's the best time to buy it, right? Remember, the number one rule of investing is buy low and sell high, right? And that's what these technical indicators do for you. You want to buy stocks at the right time, and technical analysis gives you that insight to do just that. In fact, this part is a lot of fun, and it's very, very easy. Because stocks tend to move in patterns and trends and momentum, and that's what technical analysis is all about. Essentially, they help you alert, confirm, and predict the movement of a stock. And you'll find after some time, not long, very quickly, these charts will begin to talk to you. And you'll be able to quickly identify what to do with your stocks: buy, sell, or just hold on. And I'll share with you one indicator that I use, and I only use 5 out of the hundreds that are available. You don't need all of that stuff. Here's what we call the MACD. It's an acronym, MACD. We call it the MACD. And you can see the signal patterns below in red and blue, and the stock price above. And you can see as the red starts to turn blue, you can see the price movement in the stock, giving you both a buy and a sell signal. And the MACD is awesome, but I use them all I use them all in conjunction to confirm with each other. But it's really just this simple. The third pillar is what I can tell all of you are interested in: cash flow, right? And this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is where you're using a simple option strategy to really supercharge your returns. And it's sad that so many people are avoiding using options based on wrong preconceived beliefs. Remember those harmful beliefs that we talked about earlier? That's exactly what's happening here with options. They have harmful and self-sabotaging beliefs around options, and they know nothing about it. So many people have these same beliefs around options, believing they're risky or dangerous or complicated, when in fact they are not at all. And as a result, most people are leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm going to show you why in a minute. So just quickly, the benefits of using options. You can make money in any type of market environment, up, down, or sideways. You can generate consistent cash flow when you sell options instantly. You can use options to capture capital gains as well. You can use options to protect your individual stock holdings and your overall portfolio. It's like putting insurance on your stock portfolio. Options can give you significant leverage by offering cheaper exposure to a stock than buying shares outright. I'm going to show you an example of that in just a second. And options can lower the overall risk of your portfolio. And the best part about this, folks, is that once you learn this strategy, it's not hard and you have a powerful system and money-making tool for the rest of your life and something to pass on to generations. So let's break it down. There are two types of options. That's it. You have calls and you have puts. That's it. Only two. You can buy calls and puts, and you can sell calls and puts. Or you can do a multitude of combinations of those four things. And it's those combinations that can make option trading complicated and add more risk. But that's not what this strategy is all about. I stay clear and far away from any of that, and I don't do any of those exotic strategies. This is a basic cash flow and wealth building strategy that's proven and effective. So let's put this all together with an example. Buying calls and buying puts can be a very effective strategy to control 100 shares of stock at a fraction of the price had you bought the stock. So this gives you tremendous leverage than owning the stock itself, and your risk is significantly limited. And the first lesson is this: you would buy a call if you thought the stock was going up, and you would buy a put if you thought the stock was going down. It's that simple. And you can make money on stocks that go up and down. That's the beauty of options. So let's look at an example of buying a call. Let's say I found a stock that I really liked, and my fundamentals and technical indicators that we just looked at told me this stock was a go. And in this case, the stock was trading at $110 per share, but I didn't want to spend or risk spending $11,000 to buy 100 shares. Maybe I didn't have $11,000, but I still wanted in on this stock because I knew, I was absolutely convinced the stock was going up. But like I said, I still wanted in the stock. That's the beauty of this. You can use a fraction of the money, a fraction of the capital to control the same number of shares. So in this case, I like the stock. I bought a call option on that stock. I set my strike price at $110 per share. Your strike price, that's the price I can buy that stock anytime from now until the expiration of this option contract. Even if that stock goes to the moon, I can still buy it at $110 per share. I am locked in at that price. And in this case, I chose a 45-day expiration on this contract. I could go 2 years if I wanted to. The premium to buy this, in other words, the cost to do this, is $2.41 per contract, or $241 in total, since each option contract is the equivalent of 100 shares. So in this analysis, I was right. And that stock climbed nicely to $135 per share. Now, I could have ended this contract anytime from now, from the day I started to the expiration date, but in this example, I waited until expiration. So at the end of this contract, I could do a few things. I could either buy the 100 shares at 110, although it's currently trading at 135, and immediately sell it for a nice profit, or I could buy the shares at 110 and hold on to them, thinking this stock was going to continue to go higher, or I could simply sell this contract at $135 per share and pocket the $25 gain, or $2,500, since I owned 100 shares. Now, keep in mind, this only cost me $241. That's the leverage. That's the beauty of the option market. Now, of course, my net profit wouldn't be $2,500 because I did spend $241. So in this example, my net would be $2,259. Not bad for 45 days. And if you think about that, that's almost 10 times your money in 45 days. That's the leverage you have with options. Now, I know we don't have much time, and so I'm going to go through this rather quickly. The basis of my strategy that I use is selling calls and selling puts, not buying them. I had to show you how to buy them so you can understand this. Remember that premium that I paid when I bought that call in that previous example? I paid $241 in that example. Now that I'm the seller of options, I am receiving that premium income. In that case, I would have received that $241 instantly on every put or call that I sell. And I get to keep that premium income, that cash flow, no matter what. And that premium can vary. and will vary and can be much higher depending on a variety of factors. In fact, a stock that I was trading earlier this year continued to climb, and I continued to sell puts on that stock following it as it climbed, making between $2,200 and $4,400 on every transaction about every 10 to 14 days. So the benefits of selling what we call covered calls or just selling calls, it's considered a low risk strategy. It really is. In fact, I would say using options is less risky than not using options. You generate instant income or cash flow on every trade. It increases your profits, reduces losses, and it's a simple strategy to learn. Think of it this way. I know a lot of you are in real estate. If you own an investment property, it's a dumb question, but it kind of gives you a good visual. If you owned an investment property, would you leave it empty or would you rent it out? Right? Of course, you'd rent it out for cash flow. That's the kind of same thing here with selling options. You're using options to generate that rental income. Now, is this strategy risky or is there risk in this strategy? Of course, there's risk. There's risk in any investment you do, real estate, gold, Bitcoin, whatever it is. But the beauty of using options is that it actually lowers your risk and acts like an insurance policy on your overall portfolio. But that's also why we do fundamental and technical analysis to significantly lower our risk beyond just the options. So let me look at an example here. And I mentioned this earlier. My goal on every trade is to generate between 2 and 4% every 7 to 14 days just on cash flow. But many times I can do a lot better than that. And again, that does not count any profits I may receive as well. So let's look at an example here. In this example, I chose a 14-day expiration on this option contract I'm selling. I purchased 100 shares of XYZ Corporation at $100 per share. I chose a strike price at $150. And again, I get to choose all of this stuff at $115 per share. That strike price, that's the price my stock would be taken away from me if it hits that or goes above it at expiration. In other words, in 14 days, if that stock hits $115 and 1 penny, my stock will be taken away from me at $115. Now, for selling this option, I immediately generated $625. And on a percentage basis, that's a 6.25% return in just 14 days, just on cash flow. And again, that does not include the capital gains or profits I would receive in this example. So I made $625 in cash flow instantly. So at expiration, it went up to $118 per share. I sold my shares at $115. They were taken away from me at $115 per share. That gave me a $15 gain. Remember, because I bought that stock at $100. So that's a $1,500 profit on top of my $625 premium income for a total gain of $2,125 in 14 days. This is not an uncommon example, folks. Now, I don't own that stock anymore, right? I got taken out at $115. I can sit back and wait for that stock to come back based on what my technicals are telling me. Or if I still think that stock's going up, I can jump right back in and do the same thing over and over again, continuing to create that cash flow over and over repeatedly going forward. So as we wrap up, I do want to share with you a powerful strategy that kind of ties everything together, and it's called the wheel strategy. Now, this example, of course, is hypothetical, but it's the concept that I want you to understand and see. We didn't talk about selling put options because of time constraints, but this strategy involves selling call options on stocks I own, as I just showed you, and selling put options on stocks I don't own. And you can keep going back and forth on that same stock, collecting premium income or cash flow on every single trade. Again, going back and forth, selling calls and puts. Hence, that's why it's called the wheel strategy. So in this case, it's simply selling a put on a stock that I like, pocketing that premium income immediately, just as we previously discussed. Assuming that option contract expires worthless, you do it again, pocketing more cash flow. So you're selling puts on stocks you like, and you keep following that stock as it creeps up, selling more and more puts, putting more and more premium income or cash flow in your pocket. Now, eventually, that stock will come down naturally, and now you're forced to buy 100 shares of that stock at a more favorable price because it came down. Well, now that you own the stock, you're now selling call options on that stock you own for even more premium income. Now, eventually that stock will rise up and it'll be taken away from you again. Now you'll be forced to give up your stock for a nice profit. And now I'm out of that stock. And now I'm back to selling put options. The cycle repeats. It comes back down. I'm forced to buy the stock. Now I'm selling call options on that. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And folks, this is not hard once you learn the terms and you practice a bit. And in my experience, anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn this strategy in a fraction of their time. And another reason I like this is I can do it anywhere on my smartphone, as I mentioned earlier. And many times you'll find me after my workout at my gym placing trades on a Friday late morning. So that's my cash flow strategy. And I'll take some questions in a minute. So I just kind of want to wrap up and take this opportunity and share with you as much as I can what I've seen over the years of not only why people struggle financially and something that they can do immediately to completely transform their mindset and their view of the opportunities that you can definitely achieve. I also wanted to share this strategy that I've been using for years that you could use fairly quickly, really to start generating cash flow and building wealth in a fraction of your time. So in the end, I hope you learned something. I hope it inspired you to believe that you can achieve whatever it is you truly desire. Remember what I said in the beginning. Your financial future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. And let me add, your financial future is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. It's your choice, and it's something to go out and get, not wait for. And I know everyone can reach their true potential. So with that, thank you so much for your time. It's been a real honor. And I'll turn it over to Vivian for questions and answers.
Thank you, John. Very insightful. I believe a lot of aha moments for everybody. Now, there are some questions popping up. So let me just read them out for you. We have a question from Bronner. How does this align with Robert Kiyosaki when he says he doesn't like stocks and etc.? Like genuine questions. What do you think? Why, when he says that, what do you think about it?
Yeah, no, see, Robert and I are very close friends. I've been an advisor to him for the last 14 years now. And that's why he brings me on. I'm the stock market analyst, the economic analysis and market insight strategist for him and the Rich Dad organization. He's not a fan of stocks. And that's just his personal opinion. I mean, he likes gold and real estate, as you know, but it's just a personal opinion. But that's why he has me on board to look at all sides, look at all opportunities in the marketplace. So he's not opposed to stocks. It's just not his preference.
Yep. Everybody has different preference. That's, I hope that answers your question. All right.
Great question though. Yeah.
Yes. John, I would actually like to ask more questions that's suitable for beginners. What are some common mistakes when it comes to building wealth through cash flow, and how can they avoid these common mistakes?
Yeah, well, thinking that they can get rich overnight, that's not going to happen. And then chasing shiny new objects. You know, now it's cryptocurrency, and everyone's into cryptocurrency, and then they rush over to buy cryptocurrency, and then it's going to be some other shiny new object. So, you know, the real heart of it is mindset. That's where people go wrong. And I talk a lot about mindset with people, and the problem is they're just like, John, just show me how to get rich. And they're not mentally prepared to take on the programs. You know, they just want to run out and buy something thinking that that's going to change their life overnight. And that's not the case at all. You know, a couple other things that I would mention is most people are not students of the game. Again, they think they can just buy a program off the shelf and that's going to transform them. Most people are not fully engaged in their financial future. It's not a priority for people. They say it is, but it really isn't at the core of who they are. When this becomes, when your financial future, your vision for the future becomes a priority, I mean, it is an absolute priority, your life will change. Until then, you're going to continue to struggle. You know, I talk about it. It's the first story in my book. When I was 21, I was landscaping in between classes at the university in the sweltering heat in Hawaii, humidity, like Singapore. And I was mowing a lawn, and I had a completely transforming moment in my life that completely changed the trajectory of my life. And at that moment, I said, I will be financially free by the time I was 40, 19 years from now, a very bold goal. And I hit my goal at age 37 because I made an absolute 100% ironclad commitment to myself that I would be financially free by the time I was 40. And I hit it 3 years ahead of schedule. So it really boils down. It's all mindset, folks. It's all mindset. You know, I can show you the blueprint to financial success. And I've done this with so many people. This is exactly what you need to do. Just follow these steps. This is how you buy real estate. This is how you get financing. This is how you start a syndicate. You know, I talk to the other advisors, Ken MacGregor and other people like that. We show people the exact blueprint and they don't follow it, or they don't take action. They don't follow the process or the recipe. They deviate or they procrastinate. They're not focused on the end goal. I think that's the end, is where people go. So, you know, another thing is, what are you reading? What are you listening to on your way to work? What are you listening to in the gym? I don't listen to music anymore. I listen to podcasts, YouTube videos, and people say, well, I need music to work out. No, you don't. That's just a harmful, self-sabotaging belief you're telling yourself. I probably read, I'd figure on average, 2 books a week, just in my hour and a half at my gym, driving time, walking my dog. I'm getting two books a day, 2 books a week in learning and education. And that's been a huge game changer. And then social media, you know, avoid that. That's not going to help your life unless you're using it for marketing purposes. But too many people are just on their iPhones, flipping through, or Androids, flipping through, trying to get likes or what have you. So it really just depends on how you prioritize your life. If it's a priority, you're going to make it happen. Hope that answers your question. Good question, though.
Thank you, John. Very insightful. And yes, I agree with you. What you put your focus on, that's what that grows, right?
Yep.
So I think there's one more question that I would like to ask. Like, how can you share some tips on how to diversify your cash flow streams, like to minimize the risk? We don't usually put all in one basket, right?
Yeah. So another good question. So there's a lot of ways to answer that. So in my diversification, I own property. I'm getting into a drilling program. I sell books, I sell courses, I speak, and then I use this cash flow strategy. So I have multiple sources of income coming in. Now, within my stock portfolio, I have a variety of different stocks that I trade options on. I also have a passive portfolio. These are stocks that I love, but they don't pay much in cash flow from the options. Some stocks, they may be great, but they don't pay much in cash flow on options. So I will just put those stocks in my passive portfolio, sort of the Warren Buffett approach to investing, buying high quality growth stocks. Maybe they pay a dividend and just letting them ride. And then in my active portfolio, that's my option portfolio, I'll have probably up to 20 different positions that I'm just constantly trading options on, selling calls, selling puts on those same options. And by the way, made me think, when you go through your fundamental analysis and you come up with your 10 favorite stocks from your filtering screen, I'm not looking for new stocks every day. Once I have my basket, I have my basket my basket of stocks that I have now, I'm using those same stocks over and over and over again to generate instant cash flow on every trade. I'm not constantly looking for some new hot stock. That's the beauty of this. You can just recycle. It's probably not the best word, but you can just recycle these stocks over and over and over again. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Well, thank you. And in regards to stocks, right? I think Roland asked a question. Do you also invest in options that are not listed on the stock exchange?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Yep. All right. So this last question is also something that I would like to ask on behalf of the audience. But actually, Sam asked a very good question. is there any beginners material or good books to read on these? And do you have any materials that you would like to share with us? Like, how can our
Yeah,
members get connected with you?
absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of information. And let me be clear, I can't remember if I mentioned this. I didn't invent this strategy. Strategy's been around for tens of, dozens of years. Again, I did say, sadly, most people have no idea it exists, or they think it's dangerous because of the term options. So there's a ton of information on it. There's books, YouTube videos, podcasts. The problem I've seen over the years, when I learned this a long time ago, and I read books, is that a lot of these books, they overcomplicate the system. They overcomplicate the strategy. And I think they do that on purpose, frankly. And all I did was I took this well-known strategy and I codified it into a simple step-by-step process that anyone can learn. And that's one gift I think I have is turning these things into something simple that anyone can understand. So if you want to learn more, I do have a free masterclass on this. You can go to my website and John MacGregor, that's MAC, johnmacgregor.net/free masterclass. If you want to, and you'll learn all about this, and it's a pretty brief overview of the strategy. There are a ton of YouTube videos on this. Type in selling options, and you'll get a slew of videos on how to learn this.
Yep. And thank you, John, for sharing with us today. And I believe we have something prepared for our members here. Something very special from John, a special gift from John. John, would you like to share that?
I do. And this is something I sell on my website, but I'm offering it to you for free. And it's an audiobook that I put together, and it's really the culmination of my 30 years in the industry, my best practices on how to become financially free. And it's called The Ultimate Roadmap to Wealth. And it's an audio book. You get a lot out of it. And I talk about some of the psychological issues that people are struggling with. And then I give you practical solutions that I've accumulated over my years working with a lot of people. So yeah, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Something to listen to while you're driving, or when you're working out.
Yes, thank you, John. Thank you for your special gift for us. Like how John shared earlier, what you put your effort in, what you put your time in, that's what that grows. So like what John mentioned, he don't listen to music in gym. Maybe you can put this as your new practice. Listen to the audiobook when you go to gym, right? John, do you agree with that?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yep. So with that, if there's no more questions for John, I would like to thank John on behalf of all the members. Thank you for your valuable time, and thank you for all your insightful sharings. It leaves us with a lot of aha moments, right? Everyone, have you learned a lot from John today? Yes or yes? Show John some love in the chat and give some thumbs up, some hearts. Awesome. Yes, come on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, John. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here
with us
today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to see everybody. Maybe I'll see you sometime on the road. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Success Resources. Take care, guys.